Los Angeles and North American Internationals would actually qualify for Worlds.
Ooh, that's
He's actually the reason why I mentioned this. He's actually going to be in our stream game as well. Hunter Brown.
And he's battling against Elijah Tatum, who's been a really good player over this entire
He's been a mean force locally.
He has been absolutely dominating at some of these locals.
He finished top 8 in the MSS last week. He finished second in the Premier Challenge, losing to Dawn. He won the first midseason showdown of the 2024 season back in Regulation E, and he's consistently been top cutting most of the local events that we've had here.
Definitely right there. I mean, and both these guys have really good teams. Now, we have seen the two Pokemon heroes. We're going to look at Elijah Tatum's team. He's got the Chen Pao, a standard Chen Pao and Entei sets with the Focus Sash and the Assault Vest. Booster Energy Flutter Mane is very interesting, but look at what he also has
Giga
there.
Impact on the Dragonite.
Now, see,
and Miraidon on the team. I'm loving this team right now.
But now here's the thing. When I played at this local, I still remember doing that with the Giga Impact Dragonite. And the one time I clicked it, it missed.
Oh, no. But the accuracy will do that to you.
But as we see
on this side, you have Regidrago Indeedee, which is a really fun core to see.
That helping hand Dragon Energy.
Terrapago set. Both of these are running Hyper Beam adjacent moves on their choice attackers. That'll be a fun one to see. That's going to be a lot of damage being thrown out very quickly.
You're definitely right there, because we saw how Terrapagos did at the Indianapolis Regional Championships. I
believe it finished second.
I believe, yeah, Rajan's opponent. I forget who Rajan played in the finals, but they clicked Hyper Beam in that game, and it just obliterated.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be the fun one with both of these. Is both of the restricted legendaries on this team have immediate power that they can just throw out. Already seen what Miraidon does. I like to say that Pokemon hit like a truck. To use an old phrase I used last week, Miraidon hits like a bus in comparison to everything else hitting like a truck.
Does it hit like a bus that's driving on the Sky Arrow Bridge?
Yes.
Ooh, that's okay. That's actually really good.
You ever seen the movie Speed?
Yes.
So it's like that, where it's like you can't go below the certain speed. So it's stuck going at that speed.
Exactly. But also, I mean, with Elijah's team, even though he's got that Miraidon, as we said it before, he's got one of...
he's got VGC's iconic duo as of Generation 9, Chen Pao and Dragonite.
Yep, see, he's got Pal Knight. Ever since Chen Pao got legalized in Regulation C, it has loved having Dragonite as a partner. But because of this single restricted metagame right now, Elijah, I feel like that Dragonite, once we get to a double restricted, a standard TS Cup format, do you think Dragonite gets dropped for Rayquaza?
Depends on the scenario. You probably would build a team around Rayquaza more. It would come down to if you have plans for a second restricted, because that brings in the concept of opportunity cost. Because you could put a Rayquaza in that slot, but if a restricted would feel more viable in that team, then that might be a problem. Getting into the game, and Elijah leads with Fluttermane and Xiao, very similar sounding names, and Hunter leads with Regidrago. This is going to be a very interesting one, because this is Life Orb Regidrago we're looking at, and Helping Hand Dragon Energy with Terra Dragon Life Orb could just do a lot right now.
But with that Psychic Terrain, Yin Xiao cannot go for something like a Fake Out here, because it will be negated due to that Psychic Terrain. But we do see, this is interesting on Hunter's team, that Indeedee is running Psy Shock instead of something like a Dazzling Gleam.
I can see it right now. There's a lot of Pokemon that want to lean into like special defense with, because of just how prevalent Calyrex Shadow is right now.
We see a Protect come out and a Moonblast coming out into the side of Indeedee here. That's good damage, but lowering that special attack is big. And Close Combat coming out, a double up into the Indeedee side, and it's enough to knock it out. Indeedee is down. That is huge on the first turn. Hunter loses his Indeedee, so now Follow Me is gone, and Helping Hand is gone.
And in 4 more turns, the terrain's gone. Especially when you're running a Miraidon in the back, more than likely.
That's a good one. But now we see Hunter going into that Whimsicott, and what a good...
This also isn't as... this isn't as rough as a scenario you might think, because another potential option that's available is the Regidrago to click a Dragon move into the slot. Thing is, here is that the Fluttermane resists pretty much most of what Regidrago can do, so you will have to find careful ways around it. If you're in Hunter's position, I think it would be worth leaning into Terrapagos to try to like the position, use your Terra, start being able to unleash like Terra Stellar boosted moves.
As we do see Hunter swinging at that Regidrago here, bringing in that Terapagos here. So now Terapagos comes out and its Terra Shift activates, and now it's in its Terastal form. So now, whatever hit comes out, it will be negated for one turn, but a Moonblast comes out. Critical hit!
I don't think that one actually matters. Whimsicott's usually not the bulkiest.
No, not really, but that special attack drop is kind of big as a Moonblast comes out into that Mean Shao, but it does not matter because of the Mean Shao's close combat dropping its special defense. Whimsicott just takes out that, the Mean Shao. Sorry, I was trying to remember what it was just now, and we do see Entei coming out here. Ooh. And it's Entei, the Pokemon fan. Now, Elijah
That's the one from 2010.
Yes, Elijah did say that at the last Premier Challenge in Orlando that this was that Entei that he saved from that event that got you the Zoroark in black and white.
That Entei's seen a lot of action over the years then from the looks of it. Especially now in a format where it's probably like one of the best Pokemon next to Shen Pao.
Exactly, and we do see
Terapagos looks like it's going to be in position to set up Terra Starstorm. Note about Terapagos is it's probably the restricted Pokemon that requires the most support around it. But as you can see, with Hunter having the choice specs on his Terapagos, you can actually just use it as a way of like pressuring immediate damage that cannot resist.
And we see the Terra come out. The Terra Stellar Terapagos is now in its Stellar form. So not only does it get that HP increase as well by virtue of its Terastallization, its Terraform Zero comes out and the weirdness disappears from the battlefield.
I think what you were doing in Hunter's scenario there, I think you were looking at Miraidon potentially switching in on one of these slots and trying to snipe the terrain as you switch out.
I mean, you see the Terra Starstorm come out on the side of Hunter's Terapagos here. This is going to do big damage on both of Elijah's Pokemon here, but not much on the Entei by virtue of that Assault Vest. And the 50% burn, that is very big. But we also saw Elijah, his Flutter Mane, even with Terapagos in its Stellar form, because Whimsicott went for that Tailwind, it actually was still faster. That is really big for Elijah, that his Flutter Mane is guaranteed faster than that Terra Stellar Terapagos. Matt?
Looking at this, you can actually pretty much feel comfortable knowing then Elijah's position. You've trained your Flutter Mane well enough in speed that like you're covering some of the slower Pokemon that can benefit from Tailwind. It's usually a big strength of Flutter Mane is that you can pretty much tailor its speed set how you need.
And extreme speed coming out from that Entei, knocking out the Whimsicott here, and now this Terra Fairy Moonblast into the Terapagos slot is going to do enough to knock out Terapagos, so Hunter is now down to his final Pokemon, which is that Regidrago.
This is actually just an over game. As you can see on the set, as he's bringing it in, this Regidrago actually does not have a move to hit Flutter Mane.
No, it doesn't, and Hunter, realizing that notification, has decided to concede this battle, so Elijah Tatum is going to go up 1-0 early in this set.
I think actually an interesting thing to note about this matchup going into it, and I think how Hunter can potentially adapt, is that Terapagos is a Pokemon that you need to be able to position in and make sure you get safely, because it's very much a Pokemon where the game plan is protect the king. And I think what you want to do in Hunter's scenario is Terapagos, as you can tell, can start doing a lot of damage with Specs Terra Starstorm, as you can see. I think what you want to do is not necessarily bring Terapagos in a way that you want to position into it, but I think you might want to immediately lead with it and try to force damage from the word go so you can clean up with something else in the back.
Exactly. Like something like that Ogerpon Hearthflame might be a really good Pokemon to use in this battle.
I think Urshifu might also have some merit here too, just because that immediate speed, that to your advantage. I think I agree with both options. The option might also just be you could potentially just bring both of those and try to redirect the Flutter Mane Moonblast.
Now, see, what was interesting in that first battle, we have to remember, Indeedee didn't even get a chance to attack because Hunter went for Protect with Regidrago, but Elijah just went and doubled up into that Indeedee slot. So Reggie Drago could have maybe done some extra damage on that first turn, but we do see a little bit of a switch up on Elijah's side and a big switch up on Hunter's side as Elijah leads Fluttermane and Entei, and Hunter leads Ogerpon, Hearthflame, and Whimsicott.
I'm looking at this now. The Entei is actually in a pretty prime position to kind of just click the moves that it wants. Interesting thing though is you actually have an Ogerpon in position that under Tailwind would be able to potentially faster than the Fluttermane threaten big damage into it. And if you remove the Fluttermane, then you could potentially open up Reggie Drago to be in position to sweep here.
I think you're right here, as we do see Hunter activating his Terror Orb once again here, and it's fired off into the Ogerpon. So that Hearthflame Mask is going to shine brilliantly. Look at that beautiful Hearthflame Mask, Matt. We do see the Embody Aspect come out, and that attack is now raised by one stage as Fluttermane opts for a Protect here. So that is a smart play by Elijah as Whimsicott goes for the Tailwind here. But now it remains to be seen, what did Elijah go for here as we see an Ivy Cudgel come out, a +1 Ivy Cudgel into the Entei. Is it going to do much damage? Over 50% and a Sacred Fire.
And it missed.
The 95% accurate Sacred Fire miss. Oh no.
I've seen a lot of unfortunate misses happen today as well.
Definitely.
Sometimes the nature of running moves that don't have 100% accuracy. Sometimes if it's not hitting all the time, it's hitting half the time.
But now here's the other thing. By virtue of that Sacred Fire missing, Stomping Tantrum's power is now doubled. Because the move failed on the previous turn, and now Ogerpon is weak to Stomping Tantrum.
That's another potential option that could actually work out in Elijah's favor still. There's the Fluttermane switching out. I'm assuming it would be... Let's into the Mean Shao.
Into the Mean Shao. Very interesting here. Going into Mean Shao as Entei opts for Extreme Speed to break that Focus Sash. And he encores it into the Extreme Speed. Very interesting decision there.
I can see it because you stop the possibility of Stomping Tantrum.
We do see the Ivy Cudgel come out into the Mean Shao. This is +1. Mean Shao has been bonked out of existence.
We were talking about it in round 1. Ogerpon Hearthflame still has one of the strongest attacks in the format. Fun or not, it's just Terrafire Ivy Cudgel at +1. Just always does a lot of damage.
But look at who just entered the field. It's a nice big Miraidon here with that choice specs.
And looking at this now, let me run real quick on the calculator, just like how much damage this is going to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna carry the 5 here and add 4 divided by 2. Yeah, this is gonna hurt.
That being said, Elijah could potentially show us just what the best move on Miraidon is.
The question is, what is that best move?
Volt Switch.
Ooh, that could be something here. But we do see just a hard switch out on Miraidon.
Hard switch, Volt Switch. Same thing, really.
Yeah. Brings out Fluttermane once again on Elijah's side here. As Entei going for that Extreme Speed once again into the Whimsicott. Just a little bit of extra damage here. A Moonblast into the Fluttermane slot. And an Ivy Cudgel from Ogerpon into the Fluttermane. I think the Fluttermane is going down there.
Yeah, I think this is more of a play on Elijah's part. I think he was willing to give Fluttermane just to call out one more turn of Tailwind. As you can tell, the Entei is locked into Extreme Speed, which would be at a higher priority tier. And as we can see here, Tailwind, I believe it's got 1 turn left before it lapses. What this means now is you have the Miraidon potentially in position to click like a Volt Switch, click Electro Drift. Probably going to be Electro Drift given that I believe everything else in the back is KO'd. No, there's only 3 that's been shown. Hey, you could still click Volt Switch here.
Yeah, definitely could here.
Are you willing to give up the Entei for that?
Give the Entei, go for the Extreme Speed, and Ivy Cudgel comes out. What did it go into? Did it go into that Entei? We saw it did over 50%. It is the Entei. Will it survive? It does not.
But in turn, you'll be able to bring in, you'll be able to switch out the Miraidon here.
See Electro Drift come out here, so Elijah opting to lock in that Electro Drift for the remainder of this battle.
It's actually a very interesting scenario because Ogerpon Hearthflame actually was able to do pretty considerable damage to most of Elijah's team, where I believe it might actually just be the Miraidon.
I think you're right. I think it is just the Miraidon left, as we do see Terrapagos come out here. But now here's the real question that Elijah has on this side of the battle. Hunter can go for that Tailwind here, but because Hunter terrestrialized on the Ogerpon,
Can't actually Terra the Terrapagos, so you're actually... I don't think that's really that bad of a scenario, though, because you'll be able to tank the first drift, the first Electric Drift especially well because of Terra Shell. Sometimes just able to have the ability to resist, that might just be better.
I think you're right here, because now we go and we see what Elijah's going to opt for here. I mean, he is locked into that Choice Specs Electro Drift, but this Terrapagos does have the Choice Specs and Earth Power, so it's going to hurt this Miraidon.
I think knowing this, I think... Oh, never mind, I misread the team sheet. For some reason, I thought that was Terra Fairy. I think that Hunter actually locks Terra Starstorm here.
Someone come out, and Terra Starstorm does come out. Now, this is a normal type attack. It's not a stellar type. Wow, look at all that damage. And the Electro Drift comes out into the Terra Shell.
This will be good stuff to know, potentially, or into the game 3, just how much Miraidon with Terra Electric is actually doing here. Because this is Hadron Engine boosted, Electric Train boosted, Terra Electric boosted, Choice Specs boosted, same type attack bonus
Whoa!
boosted. As you can tell.
Wow!
The only consistent way to tank a Miraidon attack is to be immune to it.
Not very effective by it, because actually even then, not very effective. It doesn't matter, because look at how much damage that Terrapagos almost went down, Matt.
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, Miraidon only has a Choice Specs, a Life Orb, and same type attack bonus on that.
But it remains to be seen. Now that was with the Electric Terrain, the Choice Specs, the Terra Electric, as you said. Could you imagine if that was Stellar Terrapagos?
Oh, if it was Terra Stellar Terrapagos, that would have just been gone.
It might have, but Miraidon was terrestrialized, so then Choice Specs Terra Starstorm would have been super effective.
Well, we'll find that out potentially in game 3 right now.
This is an amazing set by both of these players, and whoever wins this is guaranteed to advance to
top cut.
To our top cut. And it just shows why these two are some of the best players in Florida right now.
An interesting thing to do as well, we're going to kind of break the immersion of the stream a little bit. Pay attention next time that if you see Terrapagos coming into this game, if it terrestrializes, we got to show up a little bit of a thing on the layout that our production guy TJ is actually like very proud of. I'm just gonna put him on the spot real quick behind the scenes.
Calling out the production guy. That's a bold strategy, Captain. Let's see if it pays off.
Oh no, TJ does a lot for our scene. He's actually a huge reason why we have the high production value that we do on the Florida VGC stream.
This is very true. That is not a knock on TJ. He is the reason that Florida VGC is the best VGC scene in the entire United States. And that's a call out for Georgia and for New York, because they try to say that they're better than us, but they ain't better than us. They think they are better than us, but they ain't like us.
All right, looks like we're getting ready for game 3. They're in preview actually right now. Actually looks like Elijah locked in pretty fast.
I think Elijah identified a counter that might get him victory in this game number 3 and guarantee that he will be our first top cut placer. So it remains to be seen. But when we're looking at the teams, at least on Elijah's side, no Chen Pao, no Dragonite.
I imagine that's probably going to be more because they're worried about
the psychic
terrain, because you can't always guarantee that Miraidon's going to be on field. Terrapagos can actually tank that pretty well because of Terra Shell if it really needs to. Regidrago can actually potentially train its defenses enough to survive a as well.
And look,
you willed it into existence.
Willed it into existence, as we do see the same lead for Hunter from game number 1. We see that
the Chen Pao actually has Ice Spinner on this, so another potential thing that Elijah can do is actually get rid of the Psychic Train and click Terra Normal Giga Impact.
That actually could be something here. Get that Terra Normal Giga Impact here, but we do see the Follow Me coming out on the side.
Ooh. Unfortunately, we won't be able to see the Terrapagos on the layout this time, because it looks like Hunter's clicking Terrastallize onto the Regidrago, but we're going to see an explosive turn 1, I think. I think we're going to see some trading of Pokemon.
I think so, because but it also comes down to who's faster, the Regidrago or the Dragonite. 'Cause I think they're about the same base speed.
I believe might be correct on that. It depends on how much they decided to train into their speed. I believe Dragonite naturally is slightly faster, but
it doesn't matter, because in comes this Flutter Mane here, and Flutter Mane's booster energy will activate. So now Elijah will guaranteed only take damage on one of his Pokemon, which is that Chien-Pao.
I think in this case, the Chien-Pao has the Focus Sash, so even if you lock into a Dragon Energy on Regidrago, will be taking one move. I think the more important thing is you want to get rid of the terrain, in particular, so that you can force the Indeedee to switch out if it really needs to, so that Miraidon could potentially reset the terrain. Put a lot of pressure on the Indeedee to actually just do anything.
You see the Ice Spinner coming out into the Indeedee slot, doing well over 50% damage, but more importantly, removing the weirdness from the battlefield. And in comes the Terra Dragon, Dragon Energy from this Regidrago. But as we said, though, Chien-Pao is holding that Focus Sash, so it guarantees takes this one hit.
I think that's a pretty important thing on Elijah's side, is you wanted to get the terrain off, and this minimized the amount of damage that could actually be done to your side of the field, because left the Dragonite in there, no way you would be able to handle the sheer damage of that Terra Dragon boosted Dragon Energy.
You're definitely right there. But now, because of that Dragon Energy, it's not going to be as powerful by virtue of that Life Orb. Now, it was powerful that very first turn with the Terra Dragon and the Life Orb, but even with that Life Orb boost, I don't think it's going to do as much damage to most of Elijah's Pokemon as it would. But now, Elijah's got Hunter thinking, what do I want to do? Because I want to have this terrain still up.
That's why I like the Ice Spinner from Elijah here, is because you force the Indeedee to make some very weird plays to try to keep the terrain up if it's that important to you.
As we do see Hunter...
Another option... Oh, sorry.
No, he switches out into the Terrapagos here, and Terrapagos terastallizes its Terrastal form. Oh, actually a double
swap
switch.
coming in. What I'm assuming that Hunter wants to do here is have Terrapagos on the field, because if Miraidon comes in, actually get an emergency clear with Terraform Zero.
See the Moonblast coming out into the Terrapagos slot, so this Terra Shell will negate it, and Elijah opted for the Ice Spinner into the Whimsicott here, bringing it down to its Focus Sash.
Hunter is actually in a pretty good position to at least get Tailwind up to try to force a speed advantage for now. Oh, right. I actually kind of forgot that the Regidrago Terra, so Terraform Zero is actually not on the table.
No, it is not, but...
There's a reason why they're out there and we're up here.
But also, by virtue of this Flutter Mane being out there, it broke the Terra Shell, and Elijah's Chien-Pao does have Sacred Sword, but it opted for a Protect here just to potentially avoid one hit from that Terrapagos. But another important point to note, Matt, Whimsicott cannot go for, even though it just went down, Whimsicott couldn't go for something like an Encore into that Chien-Pao because Prankster
into a Dark type.
Into a Dark type. And we see a Dark Pulse, Choice Specs, Dark Pulse.
I have not seen Terrapagos do that animation.
I have in the past before, doing like just single battles. Like that's one of its things. But of course, when you're using Terrapagos, you're just clicking Terra Starstorm. There's really no reason to hit any other move.
It's actually going to be a situation where Psyshock on Indeedee is going to potentially come in useful. Because hitting Flutter Mane on the lower physical defense will actually probably the reason why that Hunter was running Psyshock on Indeedee. I wouldn't be surprised if this team does have a little bit of a problem with Flutter Mane, and Indeedee actually is something that can help with that. Like we were saying, though, it's going to create a bit of a terrain war and a bit of a game of just like how important is the terrain for you here, because
in comes the
coming in early means that Miraidon can come in, set the electric terrain now, and now you have the Miraidon that is going to be Dex boosted, Hadron Engine boosted, electric terrain boosted.
You see the Flutter Mane coming out here, and it is terastallizing into the all-important Fairy type, and that Flutter Mane really loves to be a part of.
Not only that, the Indeedee does not have the Psychic Seed active anymore, which means this is big damage into the Indeedee.
It's enough to knock. And Indeedee goes down here. So now Hunter's Terrapagos is locked into that Dark Pulse. for the rest of this battle.
The Fluttermane as well. Yeah, I can see where that creates a fair bit of a problem.
Now the Dragon Energy.
Ooh, this means that the Fluttermane's actually in prime position to just clear up the game.
I think you're right with this Fluttermane. I mean, it does have Dazzling Gleam on in its move pool, and this will be super effective on that Regidrago. And with the Terra Shell being broken, it's going to do major damage. Hunter realizing that he was locked in a Dark Pulse here.
If you're Hunter in this, I'm pretty sure Tailwind's still up. Potentially try to get a Dark Pulse flinch into the Fluttermane.
It's possible, but we did see that Terrapagos wasn't faster than Fluttermane and Tailwind.
Oh yeah, that's right, because this Fluttermane still has Speed Booster active on it.
Fluttermane opts to protect itself. The Terrapagos going for that Dark Pulse here, and it will not affect the Fluttermane by virtue of the Protect. But this Dragon Pulse, Terra Dragon, Life Orb Dragon Pulse, I think Chen Pao is being knocked out here.
Well, all moves must do at least 1 damage, so a little bit of a close range there.
Just a little bit, but we do see more Life Orb recoil. But this is the most important thing. By virtue of Hunter's Indeedee going down, this Dragonite is Choice Band Extreme Speed.
Or Giga Impact.
Or Giga Impact. Or Giga Impact. I mean, it'd be nice to see a Giga Impact being clicked here. But in this situation, I don't think it's the right spot to go for.
Yeah, you would just click Extreme Speed here just to try to pick up the Terrapagos.
And you actually don't end up picking up the Terrapagos here, but the Terra Fairy Moonblast into the Terrapagos slot. Critical hit did matter there as Terrapagos goes down.
Oh, yeah.
Critical hit mattered, but we do see Dragon Pulse once again coming out on the side of Hunter into the Dragonite here, at least knocking out the Dragonite.
I think the Extreme Speed into the Terrapagos, though, was probably on Elijah's side just to try to gather a little bit of information. Depending on how Terrapagos is trained, how much this does into some specific ones, just for future reference.
We see Miraidon come out here once again. It's Miraidon and Fluttermane versus a Regidrago. And unfortunately, Hunter has no way of touching that Fluttermane here. So Hunter, realizing the writing is on the wall, has conceded the battle. And Elijah Tatum moves to 4-0 and clinches one of the first spots in the top cut at this midseason showdown, Matt.
Oh, yeah. That goes to show you, much as we were talking about Miraidon actually hitting like a bus, Fluttermane is still Fluttermane.
Fluttermane is still Fluttermane. And that was with Miraidon, not Koraidon.
We were talking about it before in the past, that you're looking at all the restrictions and how much power they put out. Sometimes it kind of puts some other Pokemon that we've always known were still good under the radar. Calyrex Shadow, of course, has made Fluttermane lose a lot more market share than it would like. But Fluttermane on a bad day, based on any of the graphics that you've seen from still is Fluttermane on a bad day is the 6th most common Pokemon in the format for a reason.
For a very good reason on that side of things. But even then, I mean, we saw Palnite. We talked about it briefly in the pre-match. It is one of the most common cores to just go to town. We see how you said, with Calyrex Shadow going around and trying to lower the usage of Fluttermane. Calyrex Shadow isn't anywhere either. Hello. I need your glasses. I need your glasses to try to find Calyrex Shadow. Let me just look with the glasses here. Nope, I can't see Calyrex Shadow anywhere. Nope.
I think actually, funny enough, I don't think anyone brought one today as well. If Don were here, actually he was running Calyrex Shadow.
Oh, hello.
Hello, Miss Katie.
How are you today? And I mean, we're having a good time today.
Yeah.
As evidenced by Katie Byrne, our wonderful tournament organizer, joining us on stream.
Which special thanks to her for actually hosting these throughout the season. We actually have one more to finish out the season here before we take a break from mid-season showdowns, from Premier Challenges until after Worlds.
Exactly. We're getting right near the end of the season, Matt. And we're going to be right back, ladies and gentlemen. We got one more round of Swiss, and then our top cut will be decided. But congratulations once again to Elijah Tatum for clinching one of those spots after 4 rounds of Swiss.
And in the case of Hunter, he's still pretty much got a chance. I think even at X and one, I think he still has a very strong shot of getting into Top Cut.
Very true. But we will be back, ladies and gentlemen, with round 5, so don't go anywhere.
Take care.